we're going to work now on the About page. Okay, so when we click on About the trip, we have this page which contains nothing. So we're going to go ahead and fill that page. So let's go ahead and open the about.html page, and we will start by creating a div inside of div ID content. So remember that again we have this main div container which contains the header, the navigation, and the footer. All of those go inside of the div ID container, and this is consistent across the whole website. Okay, so all of the pages have the header, they have the navigation, and they have the footer. The What We'll Do page, the Come With Me page, the Back Home page, the About the Trip page, all of the pages. What changes is what goes inside of div ID content. That's what makes the difference between page and page. So let's go to the About the Trip page and open the about.html. And inside of div ID content, let's go ahead and create a new div. Obviously we indent because the new div is the child of div ID content. And the new div opens, and closes. And it has a class called rectangle. And the reason why I chose this value is because we're going to have three horizontal rectangles on the About page, and so this value made sense to me. Now, the div contains an image and a paragraph. So we open and close it. We don't close the image because it's an empty element or it's self-closing. Okay, save this. Obviously we see nothing because if the div doesn't contain a physical image, if it doesn't contain physical words inside of the P, there's nothing. Okay, there's just syntax here. So what we're going to do is insert the image and add the paragraph. So the image source equals images. Inside of the images folder, let's go ahead and look. We have three new images, interior 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to insert interior 1.jpg. So let's do that. Refresh the page. Here's the image. Okay, and then we're going to add the paragraph. So there's a text that you must have downloaded. I placed that text within my text folder. I changed the names to text 1 and text 2, and I'm looking inside of text 2, and I have this paragraph, okay, nestled at the foot of the Mont Blanc and so on. So I'm going to copy all this and paste it inside of my paragraph and save this and refresh the page. Okay, so this is what I have. I have the div class rectangle, which contains an image and some text. Now let's begin styling this. Let's go to our style.css, and it starts getting interesting now. So in the end, your style.css sheet is going to be a long style sheet full of properties. So you want to have it organized by all means. That's why from the beginning we've been writing things in the proper order. So if there's an element before another, the syntax of that element goes first. Okay, so we don't put things in random order. Now we styled the index.html so far. We're going to start with about.html. So we're going to start with a new section here, if you will. How about we place comments so that later on when we open our files, we know what to look at. Maybe we want to skip the index section and look only at the about section. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Right after the comment that says CSS for the French Alps website, I'm going to open a comment that says index section. Okay, so between here and the closing of the footer, that's index. So in the future, if I have additional properties to add to the index page, that's where the properties should go. Now I'm going to open a new section and call that About section. And all of the properties of the About page should go under this comment. And this has nothing to do with functionality. It's only for me. It's only for you, so that you have a nice organized style sheet that you're happy to look at in the future. Okay, so we created our sections, and now let's start styling that div class rectangle. Okay, so div dot rectangle, obviously, oops, I should go to lowercase, div dot rectangle, open close curly braces. Let's give it a background color, that light gray we keep using, CCC. And let's give it some margin, 0 from the top, 20 pixels from the right, 0 from the bottom, and 20 pixels from the left. Okay, so the margins created this white space, this empty space. It's not white, the container is white, but this is just emptiness on the left and the right. And we added this light gray in the background. Okay, now we have 3 of those. We're going to have 3 of those divs. Currently we have only 1. Let's go ahead and create the other 2. So what I'm going to do, instead of typing all this 2 more times, I'm just going to copy everything between div class rectangle and the closing of that div, and make sure to go to the complete left, and then paste it 1 more time, and then 1 more time. So in the end you will have 3 divs, 3 div class rectangles, and save this. Okay, now let's refresh the page. Okay, we have the 3 divs. They have the light gray background color with the images. Let's go ahead and change these images. Keep the first one interior 1, change the second one to interior 2, the third one to interior 3, save that, and refresh the page. So we have the images replaced nicely. And as for the text, if you wish to change it for yourselves to have an official professional website, you can go ahead and do that. But I'm just going to keep it now, because what matters to me here is just for us to learn building the website and floating properly and so on. So now the plan is to have the images on the right side of the gray rectangle and the text wrap around it. Okay, so the text on the left side and the image on the right side. To have the image on the right side, what do? If you remember, we can float the image to the right side. So let's go ahead and do that. Go to Style, div dot rectangle space image, which means the image that is nested inside of the div whose class is rectangle. Let's float that to the right and see what happens. Okay, obviously, there's a mess, and we'll talk about that. But the images are floated to the right, so that's one good thing. Let's just give it some margin so that the image is not touching the top and the left. Let's do that, and then we'll explain why the mess occurred and how we can fix it. So margin, something like 9 pixels, which will actually add margin on all 4 sides of the image. Okay, so now there's a nice 9 pixel margin around the images. And now let's explain what the mess is and how we can fix it.